when you're dealing with the industry, right? There's a lot of cons and pros, just depending. And we all know there's light stealers out there, right? That can be attracted to that and they want to abuse that. How do you go through life and you actually deal with those type of people that want to drain your life?
City with a couple there in me. Puffing on a Cuban plotting which was I should moving. Shawty got a body round around with a mommy, yeah. With a mama.
Welcome everybody. We're back. It's the Quilapodcast. I'm your host, Donila, Arbiter Creation Entertainment. It's been a while, but super excited to be here today. And before I get into today's topic, it's only right that I mention today's sponsor. Today's sponsored by Brothers Outlets out in Richmond, Midlothian, luxurious sofas, furnitures. If you need mattresses, you need that end table, you need something, very chic, classy, elegant. There's it's fine. Midlothian, Richmond, Virginia. Thank you for today's sponsor. Now, I've been gone for a minute and been traveling the world of Salvador, just experiencing back to my origins and my roots of what makes me me, right? And it's only right that we had a guest like this, major of a different magnitude. And she's gonna explain who she is right now. Cause if I pronounce her name, it might not come off as strong as it should.
Victoria Nkong, drum rolls.
Yeah, it's something major. I mean, she's a humanitarian, right? She got her own foundation, and we'll go into that in specifics in just a bit. And she's done so much in Africa, bigger than what people would even imagine, dream of, right? Because you have to execute. You have to have a certain precision when you're going after something that you believe to be true, right? So when we're talking about a warrior, this is the fiercest one out.
Right. So again, the name is Victoria Nkong, all the way from Nigeria. I'll just say from Africa. And I wear several hats, like he has said. On one hand, I run a company called QTB Entertainment, and with that, we do everything events production and TV production. So tell me about like the biggest award events you have back in Africa, from the All Africa Music Awards to the Trace Awards to the Big Best Chairmanship Awards to the Headies Awards. We've produced a lot of all of those. So everything for the culture, everything that's spotlighting talents from Africa on a global level, everything that's nurturing talents and just projecting how beautiful we are, and also just projecting collaborations and unity. We do that for events production. And then I run another brand called Bridge Afrique. I'm called the Bridge. So, like the name implies, what we do with Bridge Afrique is we're connecting young creatives within the African continent and between Africa and the rest of the world. So, we have roots in about 34 countries across Africa. In Europe, we're very grounded in like France and a few other countries in Europe. We have partners in the UK as well. As America, we're here at least 4 times in a year. And yeah, in Canada as well. We've done lots of things for like the Cannes Festival, for like the TIFF Festival. Right, there's so much to say, but just know that if you're looking to connect with music executives, top culture players on the continent outside, we are your reach, and we're very interested in facilitating collaborations because we know that when the world connects, when the world works together, we achieve better results. Collaboration is the new PR. It's not competition. It's now
That's right.
collaboration, right? And so that's what we would Breed a Freak. And we just finished about a week ago our flagship event called Showbiz 101, where we heard about 35 artists from 16 different countries. Last year we had some from America. This year we had the Jamaican dancehall king Busy Signal was the headline for this year's Showbiz 101. And the idea behind that is to educate young creatives globally. It's like the biggest creative industry market where you have all of these big A-list artists at the same time, the same place, learning together at workshops, but also just creating collaborative music together in the same space, while also helping the emerging talents, the young talents, giving them a chance to work them in the studio, learn from them, mentor them, etc. We film all of this, and then we send out like a reality style documentary with the behind the scenes of the real creative process for all of these stars that we love. So that's with Bridge Freak. Besides Bridge Freak, I'm the associate producer for the All African Music Awards. I do PR as well for SMEs and for public figures. I'm a writer. I've got about 3 books, one of which was a bestseller on Amazon. And most importantly, I'm a mother to 22 children. That's my family right there. Started out as a home for indigent kids, but we're now one big family. And then I run a foundation for young people and widows, single mothers.
What you
In
said
both
for single mothers, that means you have kids as well.
Well, I have kids that are adopted, so my 22 kids are not biological, but they're my kids. The difference is I didn't bring them to the world because some of them came to me at like 1 day old, 3 days old, and now I have teenagers at 19 years, 18 years. So I'm a big mama.
So like you like nurturing all around. And before we get more into it, right? I just want to say, you're wearing an amazing, vibrant color right here. What inspired this dress that you're wearing?
Honestly, I just wanted to look the part for this podcast. I was looking forward to connecting with your audience, but I also wanted them to see the cool in me.
Like that she came out here just glowing. Speaking about light, I actually had a question I definitely want to ask you. When you're dealing with the industry, right? There's a lot of cons and pros, just depending, and we all know there's light stealers out there, right? That can be attracted to that and they want to abuse that. How do you go through life and you actually deal with those type of people that want to drain your life?
They can't. No, you met the calm Victoria who's talking about positivity. I'm also the lioness. I'm the tiger. You don't come close. Anyways, I grew up in a family that what's the word? We're very grounded. We're very self-aware. I had all the support I needed as a child from my family to understand that I am enough.
Right.
And so I'm never confused about who I am. No one can tell me who I am. You can project on me because I've also groomed myself to be very grounded and very self-aware. And so yes, there's a lot of negativity out there, but I'm also very protective of my energy and the energies I let to come into my space. I say to everyone that meets me, right, if you meet anybody around me that I tell you this person works with me or this is my person, the rest assured the person is 100. It's positive vibes only because I only attract what I am. I can't, if you come in with negativity, we can last around each other for more than a week. If you're gonna be in my space and you're not a nurturer, because I'm a nurturer, I'm passionate about adding value to humanity. I am aware that there's a lot of people who are as talented or even more talented than I am, but who do not have the access and the same opportunities that I've been privileged to have. That doesn't make me better than them. I'm only now just the key to a door to open that door for more of humanity. So if you're gonna come and you don't share the same vision, if you're one of those who wants to either take advantage or steal or put down other people, we definitely cannot mix because the vision is different. And I mean, you can't personally. I'm just too self-aware to let you affect me or project on me. But I'm also not going to give you access to people to also talk down on them or deal their life. I'm very protective of my space and the people around me as well.
That's right. And what was your upbringing like as far as like your childhood to make you want to be so passionate and go? What was that moment you felt like, you know what, this is what I'm called to do?
That's the I'll say first, my parents were like the first examples that I had. They were very people oriented. So I grew up in a home where per time we used to be almost 50 people. Why? Because my dad at the time was in the government, and anyone who came from, we call it village back home in Africa, who came from my village to the city, who needed a chance at shelter and an education, my dad would take them in. So we were always so many. And then my mom, like, God, she was such a mother hen. She used to run a school, and for the young teachers who come for exchange programs, like all of them had like their plates in our home where we cook and we make sure they're all fed, etc. I think that was my first example. But then going a bit further in life, I had an experience that give a 360 at the way I saw things. I visited an orphanage home at 9 years old, I think. And there was a baby I picked up, like a 2 weeks old baby, who just clung to me. And then the caregivers kept trying to get me to drop the baby back, and the baby was crying. And they said, "Oh, if you carry him, he's going to get used to being carried. And when you leave, there's nobody who has the time to carry him." That sort of hurt me because I'm like, back home, I had nephews who we all used to struggle to carry, and then this is the baby wanting to be held and to be loved. and I'm being stopped from holding the baby. So I started like in my mind planning to when I grow up, I wanted to have a home that provided a home to homeless kids, not an institution, a home where they actually had real family and parental care and love. I know I also wanted to have a soup kitchen to provide food for children because I mean all my siblings were singing in church. I don't have a good voice to sing. I can't sing to save my life. So I wanted to know what I could do in terms of service as well. And it came to me naturally. At about 8:13, I realized that just putting a smile on people's faces, helping people discover themselves and find the meaning to their lives was what gave me joy. So I just built on that and it kept going. And at 24, I think I opened my orphanage at 24. But before then, I used to volunteer all the time at other homes. I go help them, and I have a little money and I go buy stuff for them. So yeah, as soon as I could, I started my own home. And with one vision, I wanted to give a family to kids, not an orphanage, but an institution.
Certain role models that make the biggest impacts. It's safe to say that you all making the biggest impact out here, and I know that each kid is blessed to have you in their circle. So always treat everybody with kindness from all walks of life. So you go about managing talent, right? These artists can be vulnerable with you. How do you go about pushing them to the best capabilities of what you know they can do and they can bring out when they don't see it themselves?
Right. So I do talent management for two reasons. One, as a calling, remember I had said to you that helping people make a meaning out of their lives is part of my life mission. Like, it's part of my calling, I know. And then on the other hand, on the business side, we say we help talented people transform their talent into a profession and ensure that it's a sustainable, financially rewarding career. So with that, I also just transport the mother in me into the work I do with the talent. And it's that femme mother where you spank and then you draw the child close. So for my talents, we're like a family. Even when they're older than I am, they see me almost like a mother figure. So I listen. I understand that if a person is not emotionally stable, it can definitely not deliver on the business side. So they're not just money making tools to me where I just want to push them all the time to work. I also want to be sure you're okay, you're mentally stable. I listen a lot. I remember one of my talents telling me recently, you're my personal shrink, you're my manager, you're my mother, you're everything. And that's really how it is because we could come for work and I look at you a second and I'm like, nah, let's leave well. How are you doing? Because I can spot it because I'm a mother, I'm a nurturer, I can spot it and then, I have them break down the cry, we take a walk together. I'm like, okay, it's fine, let's go to dinner.
How does Victoria relax? Like, what is the part of you that, okay, let me unwind and let me not think about anything and let me just do something for me? How do you enjoy and relax?
That's tough. Because again, I'm not gonna pretend, right? This work-life balance thing, I don't think it exists. Because when I'm not working on production or with the talents, there's the guilt that I've been working for a while, I've been away from my kids, so I run to the kids. Now, the kids is supposed to be relaxation, except that honestly, you don't have any mother with 22 children to care for. So it's a bit demanding because every child, when you've been away for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, every child has something you need to listen. So I have to have my one on one time with them. I have to bond, I have to. So it gets a lot. But I guess after I lost my father 2 years ago, I then realized that I needed to find a way to live as well. So I became a bit more intentional about me. So recent times, some days I just shut down in my own house alone because like I have two houses. I have the house with the kids where I spend time, but I have my own space where so I just shut down in my house sometimes and I just want to lay in bed and do Netflix or I go out, on a boat. But every opportunity I get to be alone is priceless to me because my life is either surrounded by a lot of talents or a lot of people doing production or a lot of my children. So it's priceless when I find a day to myself or an hour I can just listen to myself and lay down alone or be out in the sea. I love the sea a lot. I love nature a lot. Yeah, so I'm trying in recent times to be more intentional about creating pockets of one day in 3 months or 2 days in 6 months where it's just Victoria time and I don't feel guilty for just loving on myself and being by myself.
What's the best piece of content that you love creating at this current moment, as far as current projects?
Talking about content again, I think for me my win so far, my best win so far has been the Show This 101 project. I mean, everything has its own reward. The reward of seeing the this vision finally come to life. It's either you take your artist to the studio and then you're creating music, but eventually this music is ready and you're seeing people enjoy the music and you see all of these millions of views. It's great. Or there's an event you want to produce. We start from documentation. So we've designed the event on paper, the stage and everything. And then just finally on the day of this event, let's say the awards, for example, just before we open the doors to guests, I look at the mass copies. I'm like, we did this, right? So it's usually very rewarding generally, but I think the best for me has still been Showbiz 101 from Bridge Africa because there's a number of young people who, break down in tears to say, look, you don't know the impact this has done for my life and my career, the inspiration, the network. Just seeing all of these artists who usually have such a big ego then come together and just get vulnerable with themselves and just create for a whole week together, not minding who's bigger and who's a younger talent. It's for me that's very rewarding because I can see the direct impact either in the careers of these people or even just in uniting people, irrespective of their colors and their nationality. So I think for now, Showbiz 101 for me is one of like my biggest impact projects. But if you say in life generally, the best thing that has happened to me has just been creating this family of mine that is not a regular family, but we are who we are. And, it's been 15 years now since I started the home, and we are going stronger. We're very bonded. I've seen lives change. I've seen children who came to me and there was like a 5% of them surviving. I've seen them now blossom into big healthy teenagers challenging me and just being individuals of their own, and that's so beautiful to see.
No, that's a beautiful thing. I'm wondering if you could have any kind of superpower in the world, what would it be that you could identify with?
Hmm. I really would look forward to a world where everybody gets a fair chance.
Mm.
Where, we're not thinking about the color of your skin or how affluent you are, where people are just accepted for who they are and they get a fair chance to become. And this is because nobody chose into what family, what circumstance, or what country they're born into. We just find ourselves there. So you shouldn't be judged for a thing we didn't decide to be, for a nationality or for a family circle. Nobody chose to be born rich or to be born poor. So why is one being judged by that? You know what I mean? So if I had the power to just be free to express themselves and to get a fair chance at fighting like what's to become who they would love to become, I would use that one so much. I just go tapping your head and say, "You want to be?"
Power of a genie, Genies are like unstoppable force. Let's give them chances. Because you just never know how far one chance will go. But you'll never know if you don't take that. Do you feel like a lot of people need to believe it? It's a whole mental thing. For example, when someone gets in shape, right? That's a whole spiritual, but you got to believe it to see it. So it's the same way. Anyone has to believe it that they can't change. Like, oh, it can happen to me too. And it's never too far out of reach.
You said it already. The only thing between you and that dream is your ability to envision it and believe it. Look, when you're able to envision and believe in that vision or in that dream, 60% of the work is done. First of all, nature gets to work to help you make it happen. But then if you don't even believe you can't, how do you begin to work towards it? So, and I've done crazy things in my life, like crazy things.
What's the crazy thing you've done?
Whoa, like the kind of, okay, I'll tell you. In January this year, there's this big, think about the Grammys, right? The African Grammys, the All African Music Awards. I'm the associate producer. And the last edition was in January. It's a production that usually takes us about 4 months of active production, but it runs over like an 11 months calendar. We put this last year's event together in about 10 days or less. So we were running late. The team got stuck. Their flights were canceled. So there was every reason to cancel the production this year. And I sat with my executive producer and he was like, we got to go to press and announce that it's cancelled. And I'm like, don't do it. We're going to do the event. And he looks at me and says, you're crazy, Victoria. We don't even have the designs yet. There was nothing together. I didn't know how we're going to do it, but I just kept saying, it's fine, we'll fix it. And so each time he looks at me, I'm like, it's fine. And we had the best production we've had in the last 9 years. And this is a production we plan for like an 11 months calendar and execute for a minimum of 5 to 6 months. We put this year's one together for the most of it in like 10 days. And we had the best outing. And after the production was done, I remember walking into the debrief room and everybody just stood up and they're like, "You are crazy, but crazy is good." And we started laughing. And he said, "I've never seen this amount of confidence." He's a lot older. He's like, what, clocking 60 soon. He's like, in all my years, I've never seen this amount of confidence. So a lot of times when we hit a brick wall and everyone is like, I'm like, no, it's fine, I'm gonna fix this. I don't know how, but I'm already saying we're gonna fix this before I begin to process the craziness in what I'm about to fix. But then every bit of those things got fixed. And there's more stuff like that, right? When I woke up and said, "Oh, I'm gonna have my own home, like my orphanage," at 24 years old, I said it without knowing how I was gonna go about it. But I believe it was gonna happen. It happened, and it was voted the best in my state back to back for at least 7 years. And I was a 24-year-old girl running it. Founder, I was the youngest founder of home in my state, but I was doing it 15 years later we are here. So no matter how big a dream seems, no matter how crazy it seems, once you can envision it and you can believe it's gonna happen. And I'm not telling you things I've heard, I'm telling you things I have done about my life. It's worked for me every single time. So you too you can do better, you can do much more. You can actually change this amazing world starting by changing your environment if you want to. And if you do.
That's beautiful. That's the same thing I believe. At 18, they said, "What you gonna do after high school?" I said, "Well, college, university." I'm like, nah. I gotta what? I gotta pay you to study? Nah, I'm not gonna do it. But I was like, I'm gonna do what I want to do. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. I had no idea how. And then 10 years later, best decision, and adding compound to everything that I've been learning. Just try everything. Something you gotta stick, but you gotta keep being consistent, and that's when people get to resonate you on your frequency. Just gotta believe. That's perfect. I can say it's better than myself. Yeah.
Believe and show up consistently, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
On the good days, on the bad days, you gotta wake
Oh,
up.
especially on the bad days. So how do you show up when you know you don't want to do it? Like I know you feel bad, and we all wake up and wonder, God, I really don't want. How do you muster and power through that?
The fact that I'm here today is because I have to show up. I felt ill this evening. I went down with a fever, but we were already on the way. So I wasn't going to tell her because I knew if I told her, she'd panic. I was in bed, I was shivering, I was warm, but I said, you know what? I'm going to show up to the podcast because we said yes. So I pulled myself out of my bed and my comforter, and I'm like, Jesus.
I know how that feels now.
Can I do this? And I was shivering all the drive down here. I was in the car, I was shivering, but I'm like, I'm gonna be okay. And I'm really okay. We're doing this.
They're like, I don't even see you like coughing, and I'm like, oh man, like, should I ask? Should I get her something to, lemon and tea? No, she good. Yeah, she good.
Give yourself the level of discipline that knows that there's no excuses. I can explain to you it was tough to get here after we have achieved it, not before, because everyone has an excuse and a reason to not do what they're supposed to do. It's too easy to give excuses. But then when you've achieved it, then I can say, oh, bro, it was tough. But then we did it. Then I can begin to explain.
This is facts. I got a question. Where out of all the places you've been, right? What's favorite besides home? Where is your favorite spot to? Oh, this is it. And I know you said nature, so is it? Where could it be?
This place called Mangwanani. It's in Johannesburg, South Africa. It's a spa, but it's not a spa like any other one you've seen. It's right in the middle of nature. So if you were to go to the Mangwanani spa, you drive out of town by about 2 hours. It's in a valley. It's all nature. And then there's a full day massage. So you're by the waterfalls and they're just taking your feet for 1 hour. Then they move you to just where you have, let's say, the peacocks or whatever, the animals. You're just surrounded by nature. Nothing is indoor. So they take 1 hour for every part of your body from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. And by the time you're done, I think it's the effect of the sound of water, birds chirping, monkeys hopping around, and the amazing spa. You just live there like you're a new baby again when you're leaving.
Fresh, very renewed. Nah.
So it's a mixture of the nature in that environment and the local massage that is done. It will be my favorite place. Whenever I've done a lot of heart pressure, what comes to my head is just take a ticket to Mangwanani and get relaxed.
Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, wow. Any pets?
Yeah, I've got my. I've always loved dogs. I've always loved animals generally.
With all the traveling you do, you still have dogs too?
I've got my favorite right now. I call her my cherry, my one, and Yeah, shout out to Sherry. If
Shout
she
out to
sees
Mona
me,
More.
Mona More.
That's all right.
Oh, yeah, she's gonna jump at me straight up. Yeah, I've always loved pets. Dogs are my top favorite. They are so loyal.
Recently, I've been getting into cats only because they can read your frequency as well too. Like
Mm.
I was at a mural in Virginia, and this cat just came out of nowhere out the bushes and just with its hind, because they can sense which humans are good or threatening or whatnot. And I'm like, oh dang it, just open up, just like a dog does, rubbing the stomach and whatnot. Do you date in the industry or do you date someone who's not even a part of it?
Never did that from the industry. I don't think I can because yeah, so far I never did it from the industry. It's always been outside because with all the chaos that goes on in my life in the industry.
You feel like it's more private on the outside?
Yes, and also we are so prone to
Publicity.
controversy and just eyes on you and things like that. So I rather, with someone private. I run at the thought of being with anyone that also wants to be public, right? Yeah. But at the moment,
Free
single,
agent. Yeah, there you go. Free
single
agent.
and happy.
Muy fuego, so cuídate. Be careful now. That's fine. Yeah, I hear you're multilingual, right?
I was going to respond to you in Spanish.
Yeah, I know you know what I was talking about. I'm like, ella conoce que yo estoy hablando. Yeah, she knows. I'm like, so which one is your favorite out of the languages you know?
I think the one I'm most fluent in is French.
Yeah.
French, then
Beautiful.
English, then the Spanish. I pick words in a lot of other languages, but j'aime le français. Ça me vient facilement.
Oui, oui. I can't win the business. See.
At least you got that. You rocked it. We.
Yeah. Sometimes even if you don't know, you know.
It was believable.
Yeah, like you're not sick. Yeah, it's believable. For sure. That's alright. Okay now. Any books you're reading currently?
Um.
Ones that you actually apply. Because some people just read, but they don't apply what they learn.
Currently, before I left, I was revisiting the 48 Laws of Power, but I don't even apply
Robert Greene,
things.
you can't go. Hey, shout out Robert Greene.
I check a few of those things just as refreshers, but I also think that I don't want my life to be so mechanical that I'm just playing by the books.
You feel like everything's like a chess game, like people are trying to get a one up on you or like try to get around and sneak you. I'm trying not to be that person. My instincts work, they work really well. Like I said, I sense energies. Intuition, yeah. Yeah, my intuition is top notch. And it's worked so far. And I believe in a higher being that guides me. So yes, it's good to read these books and gather the knowledge. But deeper than that, what is in me? Is doing a really good job so far. Nah, I trust your judgment. Yeah, for sure. With everything that's been happening, for sure. You got great judgment skills. Yeah, I sense. I have okay. Now this is another dimension. No, tell me. As well, having powers in the sense that I could see what was going to happen tomorrow. When I was younger, I could actually read thoughts, got me into trouble a few times because you be lying to my mom. I'm seeing your thoughts and I'm saying, Mom, Uncle is telling you lies. And then I get whooped for it. Yeah, so I think I still have a bit of that helps me, that guides me as well from making certain mistakes. If I'm about to make a huge mistake, I'll see it overnight in my dreams. Well, that's good. That's that good. Decisions I'm thinking are going to hurt me or I'm going to meet someone who's probably a bit negative. So it comes. It's not as consistent as when I was younger, but I'm just saying some of those elements come together and just help guide me. More than the books. Yeah. That's good. That's a good thing right there. So, I mean, my aunt has the same thing where she can see people's auras, so if they walk in, it's like, blue or, red, or it's just like certain things. And it's vibes too, Absolutely. Certain things. You can feel like, oh, they want something from me, like, well, someone's a giver, or it's just certain things that you feel inside. So, for sure, that's a real thing. Huh. Look at that. So, you call yourself the fixer, and now I know why. Yeah. So when it comes to being the bridge, right? Did you come up with that, or they started calling you that? I came up with Bridge of Freak. First, I didn't even plan to come up with that. It was from the demand and just seeing what my work was doing. So we came up with the word Bridge of Freak coining, and then people just kept calling me the bridge. You do something and your friend is like, that's why you're the bridge, or someone is introducing like you need to link up with her. She's actually the bridge, so it's stuck and I'm moving it. No, that's amazing. That's dope. That's cool, man. Just connecting all around. Yeah, we just like you said, we grow larger when we collaborate. And that's all it really takes, you know. That's all it really takes when you really want something in life and when you put each other on. When it comes to finding your team, right? Because a lot of people, when it comes to networking, right? People are confused of how to go about finding their team or finding their tribe, right? So for these people, were they already like you grew up with them to be your team, or is certain people and you watched their life and they were attracted to how you already coordinated everything, and then you just added on and then delegated accordingly as you grew?
Mm. Again, just being very selective about who I let in my space, but also being someone that loves to give people opportunities. So, I mean, I play by the air. You meet people, they're passionate, they want to work. You go through the basic interviews. I interview officially, but I also use my instincts, you know. But I've had my fingers burnt a few times. But I've been along the streets as an entrepreneur long enough to also know that it's okay to judge a few characters wrongly and have a few people get on your team that do not last or that the visions do not align. They'll go, you'll rehire. But I've had people who have stuck around really long enough. I had someone who he was my first staff when I started my business.
Wow.
And we still work together today, but well now he's become a partner in my new company. Obviously he's grown over the years, but I'm just saying there's been people like that who are as loyal as I am, who have grown up business wise together. There are new people who come, we train. Some stay, some do not. I think you find your tribe as you go.
You just gotta put yourself out there. That's basically what it is. Put yourself out there and see. You know, if it sticks, it sticks, and if it's not, then you know it's a season or a reason. You know, and if they stand the test of time, hey, you might. You know, it is what it is. You know.
That's it.
That's all right.
What
Well,
it is.
Wes, that's all we have for today. You know, appreciate you so much just for speaking with us, just so they can understand it's a different mindset and execution is basically the name of the game. And if you believe that, you'll achieve that. So here we go off. Appreciate you for being on the podcast. And we're gonna get out of here. We're gonna get some food and we're gonna do what we do.
Thank you for having me. Love you all. Like he says, theory is simple, execution is the real deal. Yeah, I'm with that.